Is this surprising you?
Not really. I'm pretty impressed with her ability to manifest.
I don't know. I'm a little shy about like a full makeout session. That's all.
Yeah.
Is Sister Wives coming back in 2025? Or is season 20 imploding before they even start filming? Rumors of contract negotiations, Robyn's complete meltdown, and Christine secretly taping in Utah are sweeping through Reddit and Facebook. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Sources say Kody could be cut altogether as TLC scrambles to save what's left. Could the original wives finally be taking center stage for good? Or is this entire season a decoy to distract from a far bigger scandal? Stick with us because what we're about to reveal changes everything. And yes, there's leaked footage. It was supposed to be another quiet morning in Flagstaff. Cameras rolling smoothly in the background, taking in footage for eventual fill. Robyn Brown was huddled on her signature leather sectional, cradling herbal tea the way she always had, radiating calm, earthy serenity. She appeared tranquil. A woman who had weathered the madness, but the mic attached to her sweater didn't know how to distinguish performance from reality, and neither did this time's Robyn. Across the other end of a phone line, all changed. Her own voice, deep and level, addressed her sister Kendra, not as a woman grieving a family breakup, but as one carefully evaluating the devastation. Kody's still milking the money issues, she said softly, stirring her tea. Please. He signed off on the reworking. A pause, then a brief, derisive laugh. And Janelle still believes she's owed Coyote Pass. It's pathetic. Not a shred of hesitation, not a glimmer of emotion, cold, calculating detachment. The crew froze. The air tightened. This wasn't stress, it was revelation. Something no spin team could edit away. Robyn didn't slip, she unraveled. Then, in the sweetest tone, she added, God bless them, they can't handle their kids, their relationships, or their bank accounts. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was explosive. Crew members locked eyes. They had captured something pure and poisonous. Meanwhile, back at the main offices of TLC, the footage struck like lightning. Editors marked it up instantly. Not for cursing, but for effect. A silent screening room full of high-level producers, all stuck on the same picture. Robyn, sipping tea, bad-mouthing her family with a grin. It was unflinching. It was merciless. It was authentic. The problem was no longer technical, it was ethical. If we publish this, we're complicit, said one exec, whiter than a ghost and tight-lipped. But if we cover it up, are we saving Robyn? Or lying to everyone else? Another producer moved in close, eyes icy. It's not just a clip, it's the truth. We've been avoiding it for years. The video was locked away in a private folder by nightfall, but not securely enough. That's when it all went south. A sleep-deprived young editor, underpaid and fed up, copied the recording onto a cheap USB. She emailed it to a gossip site, one she'd been reading for years, and left it there. By morning, it was everywhere. Robyn's words were trending. Reddit went wild. YouTube erupted, TikToks took apart each syllable. TLC didn't share the truth. The internet did, and it judged in real time. On Janelle's lease, the video was like a punch to the gut. She sat motionless, phone clutched in hand, paused halfway through. Pathetic, Robyn's voice echoed, entitled. She rewound the moment, as if expecting it to sound different the second time. It did not. The insult hung on the silence. Her mug trembled a fraction before it was placed on the counter. No tears, only shocked incredulity, as if the heat she'd believed she'd created for her family had been smoke, not flame. Meanwhile, in a Utah hotel room, Mary was unraveling. She laughed first, hard. Hollow laughs that fast degenerated into something worse. For years she'd thought Robyn was befuddled, not heartless. But this clip destroyed that fantasy. A stranger sister, taunting her suffering as if it were a joke in rehearsal. Mary's phone fell out of her hands. She did not pick it up. The wail slammed into her like a wave, raw, long repressed, and then another. She did post one sentence that evening on Instagram. Even if she cries as she's ripping you apart, a wolf in sheep's clothing is still a wolf. Fans who had invested more than a decade watching these women bare secrets suddenly viewed everything differently. This was not petty drama. It was betrayal. The kind that flips everything you believed on its head. They hadn't been mistaken about Robyn, they just didn't want to acknowledge it. Back in Flagstaff, Kody couldn't stop watching. Hands clenched, eyes empty. She didn't mean it that way, he muttered. You're twisting things. But no one in the room agreed. The tension had seeped into the house itself. The home where laughter once echoed now felt heavy. That same herbal tea didn't smell like peace anymore. It smelled like manipulation. Kody stopped sleeping in their bedroom. He said it was to provide her space, but it wasn't space Robyn required, it was a mirror. And finally, Kody could not turn away from what it reflected. The woman he used to refer to as his peacekeeper was now revealing a side of herself that no one could ignore. The venom in her words was undeniable and authentic. Robyn's daughter, Aurora, picked up on it first. She'd always stood up for her mother, repeated her justifications. But now the quiet hurt worse than the clamor. "Mom, why would you say that?" she whispered. Robyn winced. "Do you even believe your own words when the cameras are rolling?" Dayton said nothing. He didn't. Nita, his arms crossed over his chest and narrowed eyes spoke volumes. It wasn't anger. It was disappointment. The house was no longer a haven. It was a museum of shattered dreams. Robyn's own children could see beyond the cracks. Her crown had started to slip, and they were now prepared to say it loud. The studio was bare. No sets, no glitz, no soft lighting. Just plain walls and heavy, mourning silence. The women did not come in as reality television stars. They came in as survivors. Christine's heels clicked around the floor. Her red top filled the empty space. Her smirk wasn't for the audience. It was for her. The version of her who stopped apologizing. Mary and Janelle were already in their seats. Unreadable but firm. They gazed at Christine with something unsaid. Decades of survival, ready to burst forth at last. The moderator invited her to speak, and asked if she had intended to be there. Christine's response fell like thunder. "No, but then I saw Robyn's video." Silence. Not uneasy, sacred. Christine's voice was calm, but her fingers shook slightly. "I was informed I was the problem. Too emotional, too headstrong, too resistant to following orders." She took a breath in. "But I wasn't the one lying on the camera, while cutting down my family behind their backs." She addressed Mary and Janelle. "We bent over backwards to be fair." But fairness died the day Kody moved into Robyn's house and never returned. The room was silent. Mary sobbed without shame. Janelle slowly nodded, jaw clenched in anger. Then Christine's voice turned into a knife. Robyn didn't cry because she hurt. She cried to control. She used her tears like weapons, and we let it happen. The reckoning wasn't boisterous, it was precise. Like a scalpel, cutting precisely through a decade of denial. They didn't require producers this time. They didn't need to be edited. They didn't need a script. The truth was theirs to express, raw and undeniable. This time, the hurt wasn't staged, it was theirs. And for the first time, the women weren't merely subjects of the narrative, they were its writers. It began small, a dark TikTok video. Only Brianna's eyes, hiding behind a hoodie. No music, no filters. Only one caption. The truth. Her voice trembled in the beginning, but the point cut clear through. A voice note played. Robyn's words cold and tactical. "If TLC makes me look bad, I'll cry again. That always works. They won't turn on me." And just like that, the internet caught fire. Then Aurora appeared, cross-legged on a couch, facing the camera directly. "I can't pretend anymore," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "My mom, she switches when the cameras aren't rolling. She'd tell Christine I was pretending, that Mary wasn't to be trusted. And we believed her. We were children." Silence, a breath. "Now, I realize it differently." What shocked the internet wasn't what they said, it was how. No hype, no editing. Just two daughters speaking the truth about being molded, silenced, and utilized in a conflict they didn't comprehend. Brianna held up a notebook from the Flagstaff relocation. In unsteady script, "Mom says Christine is jealous. But Christine always smiled at us. I don't get it." That lone sentence dismantled decades of suppositions. They weren't striking out. They were taking back something. Their voice, their truth, their freedom. And by doing so, they didn't merely reveal a betrayal, they dug up a generational divide. Robyn hadn't merely lost the trust of the wives, she had lost something much more intimate, the connection to her daughters. And now, the quiet she had once depended upon had turned into her loudest adversary. Robyn stood in court shortly afterward, shrouded in gray. Shaking yet uncompromising. There were no production teams this time, but the country watched. She was suing TLC for $3.5 million, accusing them of defamation, emotional distress, and breach of contract. She framed herself as the misunderstood victim, distorted by manipulative editors and scorned exes. But sympathy never materialized. What happened next was surgical. TLC did not merely contest the lawsuit. They buried it. They leaked emails, internal memos, signed release forms Robyn believed no one retained. In one, she requested to reshoot interviews to get Janelle looking jealous. In another, she demanded not to air scenes with Christine's children in which tension existed. The courtroom hummed as a season 17 note emerged. Shoot all serious scenes with Robyn having tea, to emphasize her soothing presence. The illusion crumbled. The peacekeeper was a schemer. The judge looked at her with one question. If this is slander, why are your own daughters contradicting you? Robyn snapped. She ranted about Christine coaxing them. The judge cut her off. They're adults, they chose to speak. Kody, sitting behind her, buried his face in his hands. It was over. Outside, the story gained new traction. Fans took pictures of Janelle, Mary, and Christine leaving the courtroom as a group, smiling, not in triumph, but relief. Later that night, Christine uploaded a photo of Robyn's memoir on a shelf. With it was a post-it, written in Janelle's handwriting. One word, fiction. Robyn lost the suit, but lost something more profound in the public's perception. The illusion she had so meticulously worked to create no longer existed. The mask was stripped away. And no matter how hard she cried, no tears could reattach it. 6 months went by, and then Robyn showed up. Solo, unedited, and disintegrating, she started a YouTube channel, Living in Love, Robyn Brown, and My Path to Truth. No glam squad, no TLC shine. Just pale pastel walls, shaky hands, and empty eyes. Her first post, "They all left me." 12 minutes of shaking scripture verses, subtle accusations, and weeping. But the responses weren't kind. Classic manipulation. Not sorry, just exposed. Nevertheless, she continued posting. Up until the mistake. Meant to post a refined behind-the-scenes vlog, she inadvertently posted 45 minutes of raw files, voicemails, notes, screen recordings, all unedited. All lived for 27 minutes before it got erased. But it was too late. The internet had it. There was one voicemail that rose to the forefront, her rage-tinted voice, directed at Kody. "You promised to protect me. You let them ruin me. You owe me everything." Another voice note, a whispered confession. "If crying doesn't work, maybe I pretend to have a breakdown." Something big, something to reel them back. There could be no denying it now. Not even her apologists could match the crying woman on television with the calculating strategist seen in those tapes. In one night, the final shreds of sympathy dissolved. Robyn's fall wasn't the result of ex-wives or suits, it was the work of her own mouth. And from the wreckage, something emerged. TLC, Sister Strong, the network's most daring rebrand. Not a follow-up, a declaration. No Kody, no Robyn, no puppet masters, just Janelle, Mary, and Christine, aligned, unblinked, taking the frame back. The trailer was sparse, but it's quiet, thundered, only golden light, wind. 3 women standing in the desert, Christine, in the middle, no longer scrambling for love, but teaching others through spiritual freedom. Janelle, freely disclosing the financial ruin she barely escaped in order to shield her children's dignity. Mary, no longer waiting to be picked, but standing firm for herself. No one watched. They cried. Comments overflowed. "This is what healing looks like. I've never cried harder during a premiere." The scene that defined it. A toast. 3 glasses, lifted in amber light. Christine, to truth. Janelle, to peace. Mary, smiling softly, to finally being whole. Robyn's name was never mentioned. It didn't have to be. Her absence spoke volumes. TLC had selected its destiny, and it was founded on resilience, transparency, and hard-fought development. Once, it was not about who departed, but who emerged. And then came the whisper. The teaser. The shock. 2 silhouettes against the Utah horizon. A golden filter. The words, breaking the pattern. Underneath that, Aura and Brianna Brown. The internet lost its mind. Could it be? For years, they'd been silences, voiceless, edited, molded into silence. But now, the daughters of sister wives' most polarizing figure weren't merely speaking, they were leading. It wasn't revenge, it was reclaiming. The premiere left everyone stunned. Brianna read aloud from another ancient journal. Mom said Christine was dangerous, too smiley, too fake. But her hugs never felt fake. Aurora exposed the years they were instructed to remain silent, loyal, unseen. We were tools in someone else's game. But this series wasn't about devastation, it was about constructing. Every week peeled off another layer of generation grief. Not for the sake of shock, but for recovery. At last, the women brought up in the debris were speaking on their own behalf. Robyn didn't have a credit. No cameo, no aside. This was their show. Their story. Their renewal. The grown-ups had long scripted the rules. The daughters were rewriting the legacy now. And by doing that, they weren't ending anything. They were beginning everything again. Season 20 isn't about who's coming back. It's about who's breaking free. So now, we ask you, is Robyn really done? Or is TLC just waiting to play one final card? Share your theories in the comments. Like this video if you're as shocked as we are. And subscribe for more unfiltered, unapologetic breakdowns each week. I'm Sophia, and this is TLC Show Sister, where the truth isn't just told, it's unpacked.